Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. So today we're going to be looking at the second episode of what I've titled Steal This Build. And this is something that a good buddy of mine, Mr. Monkey Meat, said to title it. But this is an initiative to get the community to start to share ideas and put it on, somewhat of a much more louder platform where people can, provide suggestions. We can go into the lab, test them out, and then share it with the community so that new players and even veteran players can just, have some different ways to play, use up all that max rolled gear that you're saving in your 4 characters. What are you going to do with it? You're going to build something out of it. So today's build is going to be featuring somebody's comment that was left on episode 1, and that's Mark Smolak. And all he did was say, I recommend 3-piece striker with AKM builds. The fire rate increase is a game changer when used on those high damage, low fire rate weapons, in my opinion. So what did I do? I went into the base of operations and I slapped together 3-piece striker and I put together what it is that I could. And I went with, basically 3 striker, assault rifle, a little bit of crit where I could get it together. And, I put a shield on there. I went with gunner. I went with just my backpack talent. And behold, ladies and gentlemen, I was able to get myself a build that is hitting like 600, almost 700,000 headshots. Now, you may wonder and say, but headshots don't seem like they're going to be really viable for me in regard to the way this build plays. And I would say, well, you have to give it a try for yourself to see. And I actually did run with it on stream, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, I thought to myself, well, this is kind of interesting that, this build in this sense is actually going to be hitting. Now, I will have to say, though, that I did change a little bit of, the recommendation that was given. Rather than use an AKM, I found out that that was actually a little harder for me to control while using a controller. So you guys all know in this community, I cannot hit a target if I even wanted to. So what I did was I went the crutch mode and I used the P416, the good old laser beam P416, and I was able to get myself some really good stability regarding that. Now, from the gameplay that you see, you're already seeing these headshots. Now, don't be alarmed that, we're getting, I don't know, don't be alarmed that we're using a scope, because the chest piece is was actually what's demanding that we use that scope, if you get what I mean. So here, this build is hitting headshots of about 400 and something thousand. In some cases, it really does proc, and you'll see about 600 to 700,000 when you knock an enemy in the head. And you're seeing it from the, the build video itself. And these are the damage numbers that you get. Now, why is this build actually so good? I'm glad you asked. You're using the mask that's called the Coyote's mask, which actually has a very nice talent in it called Pack Instincts. And what it says is you and all allies gain a bonus based, on the distance of your last enemy you hit. If you hit them from 0 to 15 meters, you gain 25% critical hit damage. If you hit them from 15 to 25 meters away, you get 10% critical hit damage and 10% critical hit chance. And if you hit them 25 meters plus, you're going to get 25% critical hit chance. So I don't really need to worry about running critical hit chance on this build, too much. I can stay away. I can use my P416. I can laser beam, and I can hit some really good headshots. Believe it or not, I was hitting headshots with a controller on stream, and that's what even surprised me. Like, oh wow, this weapon, I forgot how stable it actually is. The chest piece that I'm using is the Harness Armor Fenris chest piece. Now, I decided to go Fenris because it gives me the 10% assault rifle damage, and I will go and roll an extra, the full max 15% weapon damage on here. Don't worry, that's kind of my plan. And I have critical hit chance here, which I would prefer to have been critical hit damage, but this is the chest piece that I do have, and I'm using the focus talent in order for me to be able to gain more damage, up to 50% more damage, because focus says increases total weapon damage by 5% every second you're aiming while scoped 8x or higher up to 50%. So if you notice, I'm looking through a scope when I use this, this weapon, and the scope grants me 30% headshot damage. Now, if I really want to wreak havoc, I will go to what's the name? The headshot mod that you can use. I don't have to go there and get it, but you'll see what I mean. It's the headshot mod that you use that comes with the sharpshooter specialization. It's actually pretty good. It's a digital scope, and it gives you 45% headshot damage. In fact, I've been known to use this scope, but I used it with an SVD, and I wanted to use gunner. That's why I didn't go with this, because I wanted the armor on kill just to kind of keep myself a little bit more alive. And that's why I actually went with that, I went with that option regarding the mod. And then for the 3 pieces, I'm just running a pair of striker gloves. I'm running a pair of striker holster, running pair of striker knee pads. And this build is not even actually done. If you notice, there are mods that are missing, but that's because I slapped it together to go see exactly what I'm capable of doing. And when it comes down to it, and when you stack up the headshot damage mods in something like this, then you start to see where the build actually shines, because that's what the build is about. It's designed for you to strike at the head of the enemy, because that's where you want your damage to really shine. Because yes, you can hit body shots, but you're not going to gain too much of the benefit. Not saying if you hit a body shot, there's no room for making any mistake. Don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is you really get your bang for your buck when you hit those headshots. And that's what I think this build really shines for, regarding how I've built it according to, Mark's recommendation. Now, how else can you build this if you don't want to use a shield and you don't want to use the scope, because that playstyle seems like it's a little bit too specific? But I'm saying this is a lot of, damage that you're going to get. I was also looking through my stuff, and I was able to find actually another possibility that you can actually go with when it comes to your chest piece talent. I thought about potentially perhaps using this Providence chest piece that actually will grant me 15% headshot, and then I'll have Gunslinger. And so that even gives me more headshot damage as I go, and I can just use the scope as well. I mean, that's one way to go. If you don't want to use the scope, fine. But at this point, I'm able to hit a lot of headshots without any problems, in that sense. I mean, I said it on Heroic when I did my testing at first, and I was able to get that damage amount in testing. But even in the field, I was able to land those headshots, and I was able to do all that work. And the reason I said Gunslinger might be something that you want to use is because you can swap your weapon and get 20% damage for 5 seconds. And because this is an assault rifle, within 5 seconds, I mean, are you kidding me? You're already done with an entire clip without any problems. You've already unloaded that clip on an enemy, and once the weapon is empty, you can swap to another weapon and you can deal more damage. So this is just another way that you can run it. I mean, yeah, you get critical hit chance with Providence. When you look at my stats are not necessarily the greatest. I mean, you're looking at 33% crit chance, 89% crit damage, but the headshot is where it's at, 143,000 headshot damage. And even though my stats may not really look too great with critical hits, I'm also running strained on this weapon, because it says gain 10% critical hit damage for every 0.5 seconds you're firing, and this stacks up to 5 times. And so this is where I really get some really sneaky damage in there. Now, I have my Eagle Bearer just for fashion's sake. It doesn't have that headshot scope, but I could also whip it out and get some really cool stuff with it. But if you're new in this game, I don't expect that you already have this weapon. Now, in regard to the original aspect of this build, here is the weapon that Mark actually did recommend, and this is an AKM. These are high damage, slow firing assault rifles, and I can say from testing they will hit very hard. That's not even it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how much harder are they gonna hit compared to maybe say your other fast firing weapons. So it's kind of a take in between. How am I gonna pull this off? Let's use this one and let's see how much we're gonna get in regard to damage. So yeah, when we get a good headshot damage going, you see the numbers, you see that 600 and something K just reflect. That's you basically going with that, taking that number and enjoying it. Now if you go with the Fenris and now you proc focus when it comes to that weapon, Focus is basically going to have to build as you're going. Now you start to see that 600,000 headshot, not, it's not out of the question. And when it comes to DPS, when it comes to crits, it's not a problem to get that number with ease. So try this build out, steal the build, take the concept, build and put something together. Use the 3-piece striker because of the 15% rate of fire and the extra weapon handling. If you have those beautiful pieces that are sitting in your, in your stash, you can definitely use them and come up with a much more fine-tuned version of this, even something better. And if you do, or if you already have a build that's better than this, leave it in the comment section. People are going to be happy to take on that, your advice. They're going to be happy to do exactly as you've said, or even maybe go ahead and find something better that will suit their play style. Anyways, that's it for me. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. Thank you so much for all that you guys have, done so far in supporting this channel, in watching the videos, clicking, and just making sure that, the traffic is coming in and making sure your input is also very, very consistent. I really do appreciate you guys a lot in this community. I know we banter back and forth about the game and all that, but like I said, it's all fun and games. But at the end of the day, you guys are the real champs. So I guess I'll see you guys in another video. Peace out.